All right, guys, tacticalrab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to the Major One interview series. Today, I'm with Kenny of the Los Angeles Thieves. These guys are going into the major with a lot of expectation on the back, to be honest. You guys are, well, different apartments when we last did this. You're out there in LA now right now, living the life with the personal chef. How's it going, Kenny? I mean, moving up in the world. Let's get it.
Everything's been really, really good, honestly. Team wise, just personal wise, honestly, everything all around just has been amazing so far.
Good to hear. Positive vibes. I mean, it's been quite a while since I think some of the guys on your team, especially, we'll talk about Octane in a second, of like been in a good headspace, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's obviously helps. I mean, like let's just dive straight into the team before we talk major stuff. A lot of, I guess, LA Thieves fans were kind of, there was some concerns, right, at the start of the season. Everyone's trying to tell. The game's literally dropped 3 days ago. People are trying to figure out, is this team going to be godlike? Does this team suck? Like all this type of stuff. Because I think it took a bit of time for you guys to get in the groove. The whole move to Los
Right.
Angeles, like, took a bit of time off and stuff like this. How's that playing out over in LA, right? Because as I mentioned, I see there's a personal chef going on, or there's like a chef in the facility, maybe not technically personal, but
Yeah.
he chefs you up what you want to have. That seems pretty good. Helping create that environment. And also, there was, of course, formerly of teams based in LA. I mean, I guess you guys back in the OGLA days, the whole LA to elsewhere internet thing, which
Yeah.
seems to not be so much of an issue this time, obviously based on your results so far. I think maybe you said or something, someone said that the phase matches can be a bit difficult with the servers, but outside of that, has it been a bit better?
Yeah. Like I said, everything's been better. We had our, like you said, personal chef. Pretty healthy food, amazing food overall. Yeah, but the move and everything, I feel like people kind of thought that we were trolling by moving so late, but it kind of wasn't one of those things where we could decide on when to move. I feel like it's pretty. I guess people are pretty young. I'm pretty young, but I guess people are younger than me and don't understand like moving is actually not as easy as it sounds. You don't just pick up your stuff, go into a house. There's like so much other to it, like obviously money, like credit, all these things that obviously Hunter T was helping us out with. But some of the times it's kind of just personal things or like personal likings and just stuff like that. So all that took a while to do for everybody at least. I think Draza was the first one to move here, then I moved, and then Zach and Sam. So, Sam and Dill, my bad. Envoy, Octane. But yeah, everything's been good. And then like the ping thing, so on the OGLA year, we were promised a Midwest server or a Denver server. Um, we never got it until Champs, and by that time at Champs, we were like, we're all gonna go play in Dallas. We all went to
Oh
Dallas to go
yeah,
play at
of
the
course.
Complexity facility. But then like this year, we got the Denver server, and it hasn't been bad. But recently, I don't know, I've had some issues with it because the pings for some reason have changed in the favor of the Texas teams, and I don't know if I like that one. But it's not terrible, honestly. Uh, I mean, as much as I did a lot of like raging and I guess making up excuses, as long as I look forward to land, I feel like it's not bad to like, just deal with it because like I said, we have land to look forward to this year. We're planning on land, and those previous years we didn't have land, so it's kind of just like this is all we have. We'll never be playing on land. We're stuck with this ping disadvantage. Whereas like we have scrims and then a few matches on a ping disadvantage, and it's kind of just like we can fill some of those out and like stretch some of those out, use our teamwork as much as we can to like win those, especially against the teams that we're supposed to win against. And then like the Atlanta one, for some reason, like Atlanta, Dallas seems like in the complete middle of Atlanta and LA. But they when we scrim them, it's usually like them on like 30, 35, and us on like 40, 45. When we got to the match, for some reason, it was like them on 50. I mean, us on 50 and them on like 30 to 25. So it was a pretty wide margin with the pings, and it wasn't fun because we're playing against probably the best team right now, honestly. Um, and it wasn't fun, and also was our first match to get into it. So it
Yeah.
wasn't also good to play against FaZe for our first match when they already had a good match going, well, a match already played. And so yeah, I mean everything other than that one loss has been pretty amazing. I feel like we've made strides, and I feel like our team has been working really well on fixing our problems and our issues really quick.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I mean, why do you think that server, this Denver one that used to be pretty even, has like changed in the last couple of weeks? It seems kind of surprising.
So I'm usually the one. I mean, as people know, but I do a lot of excuse my language of bitching about pings. But I mean, I just want a fair game, honestly, and I feel like I call it fake practice whenever like a team like there's like things in Call of Duty that you do that you don't do on certain hills, and it's like if you do it, you're kind of like trolling. It should never work, and the only way it should work is if you win a insane, crazy gunfight. And usually those gunfights result in a ping disadvantage, or like somebody having a better ping than me, and they or ping than my teammates, and they win a BS gunfight. But I don't know. The Denver one was usually around like 50. Like us, well, us on. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was us on 40, and then the other team was on 50. Like a 10 ping of this ping advantage for us, but it wasn't like 20, terrible. But right now, like I said, it's like for some reason we're on like 45 to 50, and the uh, Dallas teams are on like 25. And I'm like, did they get better internet at Dallas, or like did the
They changed the server.
things change? Yeah, it's like crazy, honestly. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's practice, and as long as we look forward to land, it's not that like I'm not saying this in regards of like we've been playing bad in scrims. We've still been frying and playing really, really, really well. But it's just like I said, it's also frustrating whenever people win those certain gunfights on certain hills, and you're like, well, I don't want to blame it on that one gunfight for that hill, but it kind of felt like that one gunfight. If it went my way or went my teammates' way, we probably would have won the hill, and we'd never know if it was them getting joked or not, just because of how bad the ping looks.
That's why you look forward to LAN. I mean, right now you're
Exactly.
training with a parachute strapped to your back, and then when you hit
Mhm.
LAN, you're off to the races. So,
True.
I mean, look, it was interesting, really, just seeing how things went at the kickoff on LAN because there weren't great expectations, frankly, coming into that event for your team. You go on to beat
Yeah.
Optic. You managed it anyway with the crowd and all that. You end up losing to Toronto. That was a close one, but rematch coming soon, of course. Do you feel like you know, you guys just as a team, not just in terms of the ping disadvantage not being there, but you guys as players have always, especially Octane and yourself, feel like guys that when you go to LAN, like you really
Yeah.
step up your game?
Yeah, I think that's just one thing like me and Sam are good at. Well, just overall, I feel like one thing a Cat preaches for sure is just teamwork. And that's one thing we've been working on this whole year is like our comms and just our overall teamwork. And I feel like it showed. People been praising our comms, and I think our comms are pretty amazing. But yeah, it's just like teamwork. Like as long as we're shooting together, no matter what ping we're on, we should be able to at least win something or make it close. And that's one thing we make sure we try to do against top teams is like make it close. If we make it close, who knows how it would go on land if we were to win the certain gunfights we feel like we are supposed to. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I look forward to land. I'm always fond of like playing on the stage and playing in front of a crowd that sometimes is against us. Most of the time is against us, I feel like. But yeah, I feel like when we get to land, I look forward to it because of I feel like my play style is pretty heavy on like winning certain key like gunfights that normal people don't win. I take some crazy chows,
Thanks to Tracy
but I
Charles.
normally win them, and I feel like I'm pretty confident in like winning them and like taking them. So whenever I get to land, I feel like I catch people off guard.
Love to see it. I mean, just in general, what's it like being alongside Octane again? It's been quite some time since the good old days of 100 Thieves, Black Ops 4. To me, like just watching his content and stuff, it seems like he's kind of in a different headspace. He seems almost like a different player than the last couple of years, like much more
Yeah,
optimistic, enjoying playing the game. He was praising Envoy for how like often he sometimes takes over games and just wins them single-handedly.
yeah.
Draza seems like more confident than ever. Just the vibes of the team seem great from a public perspective right now. Like, does it feel different to last year's time when I guess there was Slasher there? And like, does this feel like a winning environment?
Oh yeah. It's probably the best LAT team we've had so far. And yeah, I think going into choosing this team, we looked at the vibes for sure, just like an overall vibe aspect and like a practice environment aspect. Like how do people take criticism? How do we give criticism? Like how do people take it? How do people think about how they play the game, like how you should play the game and type thing. And I think with me and Sam back on the team, I think our chemistry just as AR is amazing because we're so good at like not calming certain things, but it's like we do some duo things that it's like, okay, we didn't even have to calm that. It's like we knew what we were thinking, like each other were thinking. Like Sam's pretty good at like talking to me, like letting me know what I need to do. Like, yo, Ken, I'll hold this for you. You just go. You just go. And Sam's the type of person I love playing with Sam, not just because of this, but he allows me to go rogue a lot of the times. Whenever it's supposed to be him in a position to like be the player to like get all the kills in front of us, he'd allow me to go most of the time. So it's always fun to play with Sam, and I know what I get out of Sam. That's one thing. It's like his comms are good, and he's guaranteed some superstar plays and some lockdown plays where he's just locking down a certain spot and he's just unkillable. But yeah, overall for the team, the vibes have been amazing. I guess people know how me and Zach are. I feel like I've been getting roasted because I roast Zach on my stream all the time. We're playing rank play, and people think I'm like actually raging at him. But it's like it's our personalities. It's how we do. We talk trash to each other all day. Like if you're ever around us, you probably would get annoyed about how we talk trash about anything. Like we could step on a crack. I'm like, we just started talking trash about who stepped on the most cracks. It's like it's just fun. I feel like me and him have developed a new like a more of like a best friendship and like duo-ship than um we've had in a long time. I think that's really good with all your teammates. I feel like me and Dill have shit that we do together and just like overall like how me and Dill talk to each other and how we address like practice and stuff like that is pretty evenly like mutual. So I think overall as like I said, as a team and as our practice environment and just overall practice and enjoying being around each other when we play, I feel like has been pretty good so far. I mean, I haven't complained once, and I'm probably the only person to complain in our practice, and that's just only because I want to win. It's been a minute since I've won, so and I feel like this is our best chance.
Well, it seems exactly like the environment where that could be possible. And speaking of that, I mean, of course, you guys lose to FaZe, but then win the next 4 series. Of course,
Yep.
best hardpoint record in the league. I think it's kind of close. You guys might be like 8-2, and FaZe is 7-2, and
Right.
LAG might even be 7-2. But still technically that's true. Of course, like some are gonna say, look, you guys had an easy schedule. It was a walk in the park. But at the same time, many are saying, look, your comms are great. People are tipping you as a lot of people are tipping you guys as even right up there to win this event, right behind FaZe. I mean, even on
Yep.
the reverse sweep, whatever they did, none of the 4 picked FaZe. All 3 of the guys picked you, and then Doug went for New York because he's faded clearly. But so that is what it is. And but yeah, I mean, what do you guys still think you need to improve? Because nothing's perfect. Like, what's
Mm.
the number one thing you're focusing on if you want to come in and win this event? Because if you're going to win the event, you're going to have to take down an optic, a FaZe, someone of
Yeah.
this caliber, and it might mean winning a game 5.
Right. Obviously, we're trying to still make strides in hardpoint. We feel like our hardpoint's really, really good. We feel like certain maps against certain teams we shouldn't play, and we should play the other ones. So it's kind of just like perfecting every map to the point where like we're able to beat the top teams on these other maps that's not their good ones, like pretty decently. Well, like basically like the Toronto Bouquet thing. That was pretty bad. But like honestly, I think our record versus them in scrims, we were undefeated versus them in Bouquets like the past week or so before we played them. So it's kind of just like we felt confident on it. But overall as a team, I think people uh underestimate our control. I think our control was actually it became pretty good. It started out pretty slow, but as we ended this, I think we ended up with a winning record in stage 1 qualifiers with a positive control record. Um, but I think we've been making really, really good strides in that. And I think S&D is like I wouldn't say a 50-50 game mode, but if we can make it a 50-50 game mode where we can win and take some, I think is really good. I think you're not always guaranteed a S&D win. I feel like none of the top teams are guaranteed a S&D win versus other top teams. I feel like it just depends on maps and stuff like that. And you will never always get your best map in S&D. I mean, that's every game mode, but like I said, S&D is like our 50-50 game mode. I'm confident with that. I'm going into every series confident just because our hard point's so good. So we could technically be 2-0 automatically going to the series. And if a control can be 70, 75-25 for us because we've been making good strides in that, I'll take that. And then, like I said, a 50-50 S&D, we most of the time with our seed being so high, I think we picked the last S&D, I want to say. So we would go into the 5th map confident on our map pick if we were to go game 5. And that's something I'm willing to take, honestly, versus a lot of teams.
I like that. That's a good mindset. Just before we talk about the major, and because you did mention it, I'm still a little bit confused on this whole Toronto warm-up situation. I thought I'd at least mention it. You guys can say what you
Right.
want, but
Mhm.
like, so I don't really understand the full context. To my understanding, there was like a team in question. It's kind of a mystery that they were meant to scrim you guys to help warm up for the match. That kind of fell through, and maybe the
Yeah.
implication was that they cancelled it because then you guys wouldn't be warmed up. Like, do you think that was actually the case, or like was it just kind of a
No, I don't think
miscommunication or
the
whatever?
intention was to not have us be warmed up for the match. I don't know if that was the intention, but I'm hoping that wasn't. I'm pretty positive that wasn't. But how I thought the agreement was for warm up scrims is that it's always been like this every year. Like whenever you warm up a team, you warm them up till they leave because it's their match. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're not pulling up to a warm up scrim to get yourself warmed up. So why would you ever leave a warm up scrim before the other team is ready to be like ready to play, like ready to leave? So basically, we're playing this team. I will not say names because I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to start any drama, and I could honestly, I could care less about it because the match is over. But like I said before, we're gonna handle it privately and just get it figured out that way. But basically, what happened? This team only played us on 4 maps. They didn't even play us on a full 4 maps. They actually left the game halfway through the last map and then said, "We played 4 maps. Good luck in your match." And we waited there for an hour and a half before we played Toronto. So basically, we're shooting against bots, and shooting against bots is not the same against shooting against pros.
It's funny.
And yeah. So and
Well, when
then
you
it
play
was
that
it was a
team,
pretty good team. It was a
maybe.
pretty good team too. Not that though, like not the. I mean, everybody can imagine whoever it is or like use their imagination, but it was a pretty good team. So we're taking the practice like serious, like super serious. Like if we're playing good against them, we're gonna go into our match as confident as ever. So it's like we kind of felt like we needed that practice, and we um we also played them well in the bow cage and the scrim. So we were confident going into the bow cage, but waiting an hour and a half not to shoot our guns was pretty detrimental and pretty drastic in the match. But also, I'm not undermining Toronto. They played the map amazing. I wasn't like after if you listen to our comms on our LAT channel, like I wasn't like after the match like, damn, like if we were warmed up, we would have won. That. It was more so like, bro,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like we should have did this, that. Like how did we let them do this and this and that? And it was like they were playing the map well. They still could have won it regardless of us being warmed up, but I don't know if we would have got only 100 points if we were warmed up. That's the thing. So I think it would have been pretty close because Kleenex came. All of them were having their way with us in that map, and there was no trades going down. And I feel like that was a result of us not being warmed up and only getting to shoot against bots. Because I guarantee you, Toronto Scrim played them till Toronto was ready.
Well, I mean, look, we'll see. Whenever you play that team next, I'm just waiting for the tweets. That's all I'll say.
Oh,
Uh, okay, cool. Let's talk about the major. I mean, look, this weekend you're cracking right on against Toronto again. That's round one.
yeah.
Interesting how that's worked out, really, because Toronto kind of had a tough final week. Um,
Mhm.
it's on LAN. Last time we played them, game 5, you choked the Tuscan hardpoint, as we discussed. It was a pretty rough one, but
Yeah, it was.
mistakes are there for a reason. So, I mean, look, how you feeling about that game? It's an interesting one, really, because it's such a crucial round one game. I mean, all the round one games
Yeah.
are incredibly competitive and tight, and I think a lot of people are looking at this one being the most interesting because Toronto haven't placed outside of the top 3 any event since they picked up Insight. So them
Jesus.
going to lose as round one would be pretty tough for them to still make that run happen, right? Which just
Right.
it's this is a great chance to take them down though, with them looking somewhat vulnerable.
Um. Yeah, I mean Toronto's always gonna be a hard team. They are one of the hardest teams to play against in the league, just because their teamwork is crazy, like super super crazy. Like when you play against them, it's really hard, and you notice the difference between them and every other team in the league. Maybe other than like FaZe. FaZe might be the closest people to like having their type of teamwork. That's one of the reasons like Toronto has made like it hard for FaZe to win. Like they've been playing FaZe tough the past year or so. But I'm very confident going to the match. I do think the match is like gonna predict the whole event. I feel like it's the match for the event. Is what I want to call it. Just because, like I said, whoever wins that match is coming out hot and super confident. It's kind of just like gonna be like a super confidence booster because 2 of the top teams, whoever wins that going into the next match with just the utmost, just full throttle, like I said, confidence. So I think it's a big match for us, and I think it's a big match for them, and I think it'll be a banger. But I'm hoping to hopefully dominate the series. I feel like if we dominate the series, it like I said, it will just make other teams more nervous, and it'll just basically lift us up into the mindset of like, oh, we might be winning this event, or we're definitely going to finals type thing because of the fact that, like you said, Toronto's a top, like they've been top 3 in every event they played, and if we were to beat them or dominate them, it's like, is that our guaranteed top 3, or like what are we looking at here? And it's kind of just like it's one of those matches like it's gonna predict the bracket honestly, and it's gonna make everybody else more nervous. Depending, it doesn't matter which team wins. Toronto wins, we win. one of us is coming out hot throughout the whole bracket.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's just so much that it's gonna be a crazy weekend. We'll see how it goes. It's
Yep.
gonna be. I'm looking forward to that one. Outside of Toronto, is there
Mhm.
any particular team that you're keen on getting one over on? You know, is there someone you'd like to take down? Just obviously, it could be just FaZe, Optic, whoever you think you
Yeah.
might face in the grand finals. But always the big dogs, I'm sure, especially in a tournament like this when you guys are kind of tipped to be outside of, well, you know, a lot of people say number 2 team of the game right now.
Yeah. Man, I guess the obvious answer is FaZe, just because it's the only team we lost to so far. But I definitely want to get a match in versus London. We have a possibility of playing them second round. Just because they've been playing really, really well, and they're a pretty good team. I think I've seen a stat. They're all positive in every game mode,
Yeah,
which is insane.
that's mad
So yeah,
actually.
to play them would be crazy, and it would be a thing where like we played all the top teams. We haven't played Seattle yet, um, but I definitely would say FaZe is probably the easiest choice to pick, just because, like I said, we lost to them. But if I had to pick a different team that wasn't like an obvious answer like FaZe or Optic, I would go with London.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I mean, there's also that possibility of like the kind of LA derby in that round too, if
True.
London lose, which would be interesting. I'd, like tough to call really that series just because London, yeah, they were 4-1, but the only team they lost to was LAG, so
Right.
that's always a possibility. But the bracket could throw up some surprises on that day one.
Yeah.
Final question. I think for you guys, this is maybe clear, but I've been asking people what is kind of a good slash acceptable result for you guys this event. Pred said like number 1 or bust. You don't care if he loses, it's a loss. But
Yeah.
at the same time, and I'm sure you guys think the same way, that like it's about time you get another win on the board.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, if you were to make the grand finals, that's kind of like, all right, you know, we're
Uh,
here, we're here on the Sunday. I know maybe you guys said pre-season or when I was talking to Draza, he was like, look, if as long as we're there on the Sunday competing every
exactly.
single tournament, then we'll win one eventually, you know?
Yeah, that was like one of our. So I've been this big person on just getting small W's, because I've been taking some big L's the past years, and I think I'm just going into this year with small W's. And the first W is getting our team. Uh, Second W is like small W's are good practice environment. And then yeah, going into this year, we wanted to make a Sunday. We didn't make a Sunday all last year. We made a Sunday at our first kickoff, whether you count it or not. It was a Sunday. And I think our next small goal is to make it to a grand finals, whether we win it or not. I obviously do want to win it, and I think the best result would be to get it to a grand final for us, and I think we'd be devastated if we didn't, just because of how good our practice has been going, how good we've been playing, how good we're feeling going into the major. I think we're looking at nothing under the grand final, and I think, like I said, small W's that's our next one. And then if we were to lose the grand finals, it'd be next W's get a win. So I think if I had to pick something, minor, I would say grand finals. But major wise, I want to win, and I think we also think we have a good chance of doing that.
Well, good stuff. I mean, best of luck to you this weekend. Any
Thank you.
final word as we close things out to the LA Thieves fans, people back
Mhm.
home, all that good stuff?
Um, no, just thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, we put on a good show for you guys, and yeah, hopefully we win the thing and bring LAT another chip. Well, LAT's first chip in the league, but another tip to 100T.
Yeah, get it in the compound, all that stuff. Like, get the
Sure.
trophy there. Even if they even have a trophy, I don't know. I guess they will
I
this
don't even
season,
know.
surely. Come on, man. They try to
100T will
make
make
one.
up a trophy for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thanks all for
Yeah,
watching at
no
home.
problem.
Take care of yourselves. We will see you next time.